Good afternoon. This is probably the largest number of people I have seen in person in a long time. First of all, let me acknowledge the great many partners that we have. And you know what? I'm getting used to my mask being on. Let me acknowledge the great many partners that we have in the room. First of all, our city council, leaders, policymakers, and representatives of the people. President Jack Heath, Vice President Miraboda, Councilperson April Jackson, Councilperson Angela Blake, and Councilperson Michelle Gregory. Additionally, my Chief Deputy, City Administrator Julia Glanz, who's been serving as the COVID-19 czar for the City of Salisbury. We also have community partners, including Kevin Justice from M4 Reactor, our very own Salisbury Makerspace that we're very proud of. We have Mark Thompson, Director of the Adopt-A-Block program, among many other roles in our great community, but an incredible program of the Emmanuel Wesleyan Church. I also want to acknowledge some of our partners who couldn't be here today, including Habaki Petian, Executive Director of Rebirth Incorporated, and Cheryl Meadows, the Executive Director of Salisbury Neighborhood Housing Service, partners in this process. So this week, Marylanders began the cautious task of emerging from the state of emergency, which has been in place now for 2 months. It is encouraging that we have met the standards to enter phase 1 of the 3-phase plan to reopen the state of Maryland. But there is much progress to be made before we're able to get back to anything approaching business as usual. With careful planning and decisive action, and by putting people first, I'm confident we can and will get back there. As we enter this phase, and our focus turns increasingly to recovery, it's vital to continue to support and protect our citizens during this time of an almost unprecedented crisis. The scope of impact of the coronavirus is massive, reaching every single sector, every single city and state, and every one of us. It's a crisis which has demanded a swift and multifaceted response. On March 22nd, we issued an executive order imposing a state of emergency in Salisbury. We closed parks and playgrounds. We sent all of our employees who could work from home. We created internal teams and processes to manage COVID-related costs and impacts on how we do business, and even began a daily 5 p.m. broadcast, now infamous broadcast. We created gift card programs and bingo to support our local restaurants and small businesses, stood up the ISO Lounge to assist local musicians and artists, and even a good news hotline. On April 4th, I issued a second executive order tightening restrictions on customer occupancy and made it mandatory to practice social distancing in essential businesses. As new impacts arose, we established Camp Hope to give our local homeless population a place to safely lock down. We've coordinated the support of the Army National Guard soldiers from the 115th Military Police Battalion and Delta Company of the 1st of the 175th Infantry Regiment to support both Camp Hope and Adopt-A-Block efforts to feed low-income families in some of our hardest-hit neighborhoods. Different as they are, all of these efforts share the same goal of keeping Salisburyans healthy and safe. Today we take the next step toward recovery, toward getting back to work, toward safety and stability. Next step is an omnibus plan which provides relief and protection for our citizens now and establishes longer-term solutions to some of the new challenges that we face as we try to get the economy back on track. Next step uses the allocation and distribution of grant funds, legislative action, and executive action to match the appropriate relief to the need at hand. First responders, renters, small business owners, vulnerable populations, workers, non-native English speakers, taxpayers, ratepayers, restaurateurs, frontline workers, and worshipers, all receiving relief and help based on their specific needs. Next Step provides for our first responders by offering a 100% city property tax credit for volunteer and career firefighters and police officers in the city of Salisbury. For renters, Next Step contains $105,000 worth of rental assistance for anyone whose wages have been affected by the crisis. We are also sending to the City Council tonight, and you'll hear from them shortly, and a law that outlaws rent increases during the state of emergency, and issuing an order requiring a refund of any rent increase that has been imposed since the start of the emergency. We will also require all landlords to distribute within 5 days to every renter a letter from the city on the renter's right to remain in their housing until a court order removes them. Our next step in safety for small business owners, $87,000 will provide acrylic barriers made locally by M4 Reactor, who you'll hear from shortly as well. These will be offered to our businesses at no cost. In our economically hardest hit neighborhoods, we will provide $10,000 more of PPE, hand sanitizer, antibacterial soap packets, as well as 5,000 masks, thanks to the U.S. Conference of Mayors and Bella and Canvas, 5,000 masks for families in low-income neighborhoods. And $15,000 more will be used to purchase food for families in low-income neighborhoods. Looking to life past this crisis, we will stand up immediately a vulnerable populations task force to ensure that homeless, non-English speaking, low-income, and juvenile residents have a voice in policy setting. We will also stand up a workers' protection policy task force to ensure that each industry considers protection of workers during the reopening process. For our non-English speaking and deaf and hearing limited neighbors, $8,000 will allow us to produce marketing materials on methods of self-protection in Spanish, in Creole, in Korean, and in Braille. Our next step toward financial recovery includes 6-month payment plans for all city property taxpayers with no late fees applied. The same goes for all personal property taxes, and the same goes for all water and sewer rate payers. 6-month payment plans with no interest or late fees. For restaurant owners and employees, the next step is a safe reopening. So we created a multi-department restaurant outdoor dining review team, which will immediately, beginning now, provide review and provide approval within 24 hours of plans for expanded outdoor dining as soon as the governor allows it. A form is already live on our website for quick, easy submittal of plans and a guaranteed rapid response once the governor moves us into that appropriate phase. I encourage restaurateurs to take advantage of the application being online and submit their plans now. Next step provides for relief of our frontline workers with an immediate $750 one-time stipend for city employees who come into direct contact with the public and a $500 one-time stipend for city employees who are in direct contact with those employees. Something I know many of us are looking forward to very much is our ability to congregate and to worship as we choose. Salisbury and Wicomico County's next step is the ability to once again do just this. As all city parks and public spaces are now available for outdoor worship services for any house of worship in Wicomico County. Spaces can be scheduled using an online form that is already available on our website. And I want to note that masks are being required within the city of Salisbury for any worship service, indoors or outdoors. That is different from the governor's order, and yes, that's an extra restriction, but we believe an important one looking at the data of the spread of the virus in other communities. This includes an option to our outdoor services, this includes an addition to our order signed today that will allow for the reservation of those spaces for multiple weeks to come throughout the summer. The purpose of that is to allow some consistency. Our spaces are being identified as an appropriately social distanced maximum capacity. Say the Riverwalk Amphitheater, which would normally have 750 capacity, maybe down to 250. But we will note that online, and then you can apply to reserve that space. My friends, today we face a future that we couldn't have imagined just a few short months ago. And it's only by prioritizing the health, safety, and prosperity of every citizen that we will begin to shape this new future. We can only truly move forward if we do so cooperatively, hand in hand, and leaving no one behind. I am hopeful, and I believe that if we know what that next step is, we will begin to quicken our pace on the road to recovery. This is our next step. Wasn't our first, and it won't be our last. I encourage you to check out the plan at salisbury.md, www.salisbury.md. And I want to thank each and every person on our team, every one of the members of the City Council, and every one of our partners, their organizations, and every citizen in Salisbury for prioritizing health and safety, for keeping your neighbors in mind, and doing what you can to keep each other safe and well. I love you, Salisbury, and thank you. What I'd now like to do is invite City Council President Jack Heath to come forward to make some brief remarks. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it. It's a pleasure for me to be here today in support of this wonderful plan that affects every single citizen in some way in the city of Salisbury. This has been a very, very trying time. And if you look at it, our citizens deserve the best we can give them. I'm proud of the council and the way we've conducted our business. I'm very proud of those that come in contact, our first responders, all the staff that's out there working on the roads and streets. They're to be commended and thanked. I want to thank those that have made masks, made protective equipment for the public. Please, please support and wear the mask when you're outside. It is critical to us and very, very important. I want to thank again the mayor, the partners, and wish everybody in Salisbury a safe and healthy return to the new normal. God bless you all.
What I'm going to do now is ask City Council Vice President Mirabota to come up next, and then I'd like to offer each council member the opportunity to come forward following Mr. Boda.
First, I want to thank the mayor for your leadership and the constant guidance through this process, and it's been an honor to work with you on this, bounce ideas off, and I think some of these ideas, specifically 100% tax credit for our first responders that live in the city. I think this could be an option to help in the future to look at how do we, one of the next crises is our volunteer firefighting, and having people serving in that capacity, and this might be something we could consider to continue beyond this. I'm proud of our city. I'm proud of how our businesses have had to redefine their business models to serve, and how our community responded to our businesses to help them keep the lights on. And I think your plan in here and affecting everybody up from the top to the bottom, those in the most need, those who provide jobs for our people and our first responders, I think this is key in helping us in this next step, and fully support what we have going on here. And I look forward to working with everybody. And it's, again, great to see the family here, even though we're spread out. We're a very close-knit group, and we work well together. And again, I can't emphasize enough, please support our local businesses. I'm proud to say I had breakfast at Old Town Deli this morning, scrapple egg and cheese sandwich and a coffee. So businesses are still serving scrapple, and I just want to make sure everybody, Johnny's Sub Shop, Roadie Joe's, so people, scrapple is still available, so we're good, all right? So thank you, and I'll yield the rest of my time to my sisters over here. So.
I'd like to commend the mayor for everything that he has done, including the city council. We have worked together, like I always say, cohesively to get things done. And it has been a trying time for everyone in the city of Salisbury. And I appreciate everything that the mayor has put together for the city to thrive. We've struggled. We're still struggling. And the next phase, I'm not too sure, but let's concentrate on phase one. Let's get past it. People continue to wear your mask, continue to do the normal social distancing and things of that sort. But it is very important that we do what is right by everyone in this city. And I really believe that the mayor and the city council has really, really done that. Everything that we've done for every aspect of this city. We haven't left not one person, one ethnic group, whether it was disabled, disability, or whatever, we haven't left anything out. So I thank the mayor, I thank the partners for coming forth, and I want us to continue to thrive. And I mean thrive through this and get through this, because tomorrow is just another day. And I'm gonna tell you something. It's been hard. I can tell you, I am a COVID survivor. And it was a struggle. So everyone, pay attention to what is going on around you. Be mindful and respect other people and how you go through this. I know, like they say, Ocean City's open. Some of the parks are open. Be mindful. Just be mindful how you govern yourself. That's all I'm asking, because I'm gonna tell you, COVID is real, and it is dangerous, and you've seen how it is, how people have died from this. And people are still struggling through this. I have lost family members. I have lost friends. I don't want to see another life loss. So I thank you, Mayor. Thank you. I'm going to call you up personally, Mir, Angela, Jack, Michelle, Julia, Diane, Chris, Kevin, Mark, and Heather. Thank you so much for coming in and helping us with this, because the city is going to move forward. Salisbury, we're Salisbury strong. Thank you.
Hi, and good afternoon. I'm Angela Blake, and I work with a lot of children, so I'm going to well, first of all, thank you, Mayor and the City Administrator, Julie Glanz, the council, for all your efforts in keeping our city safe and strong and in this recovery path. But when I think of this situation that we're going through now, I equate the lessons that we learn with The Wizard of Oz. It's one of my favorite books, and it's my favorite movie, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you're going down the yellow brick road, and you discover you need a brain, and the brains that we have in Salisbury and the things that we're doing, and we're putting that brain power together. And not only do we discover we have a brain, but we're using our brains, and we're really making really good plans. Then you go a little further down the yellow brick road, and you discover, wow, you need a heart. And our city has people that are full of heart for all of our people, and that warms me up, and it's just delightful to know that no matter where you are in Salisbury, that we are taking into consideration your needs. Then you go further down the yellow brick road, and you discover you really need a lot of courage. And the courage that I see constantly in Salisbury, from our business community, from our educational system, from every place that works with children, from our government response, our first responders, our churches, our neighbors, the courage we have to deal with what's been given to us and to figure out what to do next has been amazing. And then the thing that I love the most about The Wizard of Oz, and I talk to a lot of my kids about this, there truly is no place like home. There's no place like Salisbury. And I love Salisbury. I just want to keep us together. And I think with the plans that the mayor, the city administration, the council, the business community, our health community, our education community, our churches have going forward, really puts us on a path to really go to the Emerald City. So have a great day, and thank you again.
Technical difficulties. Okay. Well, it's really great to be around people. I haven't been around other people since the last council meeting was held in these chambers. That was the last time I left my house to interact with others. So it's really great to see everybody here. And I want to point out, and I want to thank the mayor for being so responsive. I came to him with an idea about not less than a week ago about a forum for workers so they could learn what protections are in place for them and that sort of thing. And he took that idea and ran with it and created the task force. And I am so, so pleased to see this city looking out for not just the businesses, not just, the corporations, but for people who are supporting those businesses, people who are working in those businesses, the people who are on the front lines, our delivery people who are bringing the restaurants food to us, and, the nurses on the front lines, and, especially the tax credits for our first responders, who I just think the world of. I've said this many, many times, they deserve that. So I'm very, very, very pleased to see the city moving forward with that and expanding on taking a good idea and making it great, basically. And I'm so happy that our city council is all of one mind, and you guys are fantastic. And I really have learned a lot in these few months, and this has been a trial by fire for me especially. But I think, we have really come together, and we are looking out for the best interests in Salisbury. So again, like everybody else said, please keep wearing your mask, please keep, adhering to social distancing, and, we will get through this.
Again, thank you all so much. And Michelle, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about it, that about half of your time as an elected official has been under these strange conditions. So thank you for continuing to, to lead in spite of having to go through trial by fire, as you said. But Angela, Michelle, April, Jack, Muir, appreciate each of you and the role you have played, and will continue to play. I want to invite some of our partners forward, and Mark, I'm going to ask you to come up first if you don't mind. I'm going to invite Mark Thompson. He is familiar to most of you, a well-known face in this community, a leader of young people in our schools, a faith leader, and a person who recognizes the humanity in us all and is present in our neighborhoods, particularly in Church Street, to make food available for the hungry through the Adopt a Block program for many years, and a great partner to the city as well, and we've tried to be a good partner for him and his team. So, Mark, if you wouldn't mind coming forward and just talking about some of your activities, I'd appreciate it.
Good morning or afternoon, everybody, to the mayor and the city council. If I could just take a moment just to coin and use the words of Charles Dickens when he said it was the worst of times, but it is the worst of times, and it is the best of times, but it also says it's the age of wisdom. And Mr. Mayor, I think now we are going into that age where we're using our wisdom to actually make good decisions that's going to be useful for our whole community as a whole. I am the outreach director at Emmanuel Wesleyan Church, where our pastor, Mark Bunting. For the last 7 years, Emmanuel Salisbury has gone out into the community to deliver food every second and fourth Saturday for the last 7 years. We reached over 300 homes every Saturday we went out. But on March 12th, I can remember that day when everything's changed in our lives, we had to change our approach of how we went out into the community. It hurt us deeply that we couldn't go and get that relationship again with our community as we deliver food. But through the help of the mayor and some discussions with the city, we came up with a plan. And the plan was to set up 3 sites in the area where we deliver food. And on April 25th, we actually had the National Guard came down with their Humvees. And it was ironic, 'cause I said, you know, we're in a wartime, and we're fighting a battle here, but we're winning this battle if we continue to do what we're doing, and that is providing much-needed food to people in our community. And when we say, I know, we mentioned homeless and people like that, but the face of need, as I've seen it, has changed. Just as we're just wearing a mask and all we can see are people's eyes, the face of need is no longer the rich, the poor or the rich. It's everyone is in need. On the first time we went out, we had over 800 bags of food. We had to call Chief Duncan to come and help us with crowd control on Truett Street. The second week we went out, we went down about 500 bags, but we continue to serve those 3 areas every second and fourth Saturday. And we're looking to continue this. And we're asking our community to come together. I mentioned a coalition. We need to make sure it's not about my program or your program. It's about how we, Age of Wisdom, can come together and service our community in different areas. So we're not duplicating efforts, but providing food, much needed food, to as many people as needed. So once again, I thank you, Mr. Mayor and the City Council. We're looking forward to this partnership, but most importantly, stay safe, stay well. This is no joke. When it just hit me, my family last night when my brother-in-law in Washington, D.C. passed away. This is a serious virus, no matter how you look at it. Wear your mask, stay safe, and let's continue to work together as one family, not black or white, but one family, one Salisbury, and we'll get through this. And as they said in The Wizard of Oz, there was no wizard. It was all within you. Our strength is within us all. God bless you all.
No, I think that evidence is Mark's comments and his family experience evidence is that, you know, this virus knows no boundaries and it doesn't discriminate and it will find its victims, and it's incumbent upon all of us to do what we can to support one another and keep each other safe. And part of that is recognizing that what we decide to do to reopen the economy can be done safer. It's not simply turning the lights back on and unlocking the door. It's how we structure ourselves to be safer, with physical distancing, with masks, and with engineering solutions. And those engineering solutions need not come at a severe price tag to the business. For anybody who doesn't know what a makerspace is, I'm going to do a very poor job of trying to explain, and Kevin will correct me. But makerspace in any community, and ours is M4 Reactor, is a space where people can go to access tools, machines, and space and expertise to create. And to some, that could be a hobby. To others, it could be the start of an industry or the start of a business. And I think one of the signs of a community of vitality is having a healthy makerspace. And it's also important to recognize that I believe that the key in community to helping people lift themselves and to cooperate with them and partner with them in providing an effort to help people be lifted out of poverty is recognizing that there is so much ingenuity, creativity, and raw talent that exists in our neighborhoods right now. And the space, a community maker space, to say, here's where you can access tools that are thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, and access them for a very low cost, is part of the mechanism to operationalizing those businesses, turning them from a hobby into a success. So we have partnered with M4 Reactor, and I'm going to invite the director, the executive director of M4 Reactor, Kevin Justice, to come forward to talk to you about what they do. We've invited them to come forward because we are partnering with them on providing barriers, acrylic, such as what you see to my left, you're right, for businesses as they reopen. So Kevin, thank you.
Thank you, Jake. Actually, you did an incredible job of telling about what we do. I might ask to license that video clip. So, Mayor and City Council and other constituents, thank you for having us here today. Yeah, I was going to talk about what a makerspace is, and Jake really hit it on the nail on the head. We do a lot of innovation, we like to say, because we're always trying to find new ways to do things. In terms of providing training for the community in different technologies, in terms of getting that training to schools and lower economics populations and so forth. And we were in early March, about 2 weeks away from opening, and COVID hit. We have a new location at 307 North Salisbury Boulevard. It's the building on the corner of 13 and Church with the nice mural. So we got stuck and couldn't open, and immediately found out that the hospital was in need of some protective shields for doing intubation. So we pivoted and started immediately manufacturing these. There's one over here on my left. It's the large 2-foot cube box that has holes in it, where if you're not sure or not aware what intubation is, they basically, the healthcare provider, is putting a tube down someone's throat. And when you're doing that, a lot of liquids can come out, and having a barrier like that will protect the healthcare people that are around. So we started manufacturing those very quickly and got those to the hospital. The next thing that we did was I saw that someone online had started 3D printing these ear savers, and these are meant to be used with surgical masks. You wear them behind your head, they clip on to the ear portion, to keep your ears from getting hurt from the straps. The problem was, when you 3D print these, it was taking about 30 to 40 minutes to print one. And I thought, well, we've got 12 printers, 3D printers. We should be able to print quite a few of them, but still, that's 12, maybe 15 an hour. And I looked at it and I said, we can do better than that. And what I came up with was a solution where we got high-impact polystyrene plastic in sheets and cut it with our laser cutter, and we're cutting these at 20 seconds a piece. We produced 3,000 in a week, the majority of which went to the hospital. So that was really exciting. And since then, we've been asked by the Wicomico County Libraries, the Del Mar Library, and the Talbot Libraries to create shields, and not just simple shields that, a 3-foot or 4-foot wide shield. These are going to be shields that wrap all around their entire counter space. If you can think about the downtown library branch, their main desk is probably 25 feet wide, and it'll be 4 feet tall, wrap the entire desk. Same thing with all the other libraries. And that's a fairly big undertaking. We actually had to build our own plastic bending machine to be able to bend 4-foot tall plastic. And we're going to be delivering those this week, so that's really exciting. We're also working on prototyping a new type of headband for acrylic shields, or actually for face shields. We'll be using the same type of polystyrene plastic that we can get. The face shield's not here. That's actually the easy part. That's made out of PETG, a different type of plastic. The challenge with these that others have been manufacturing is that the entire thing's made out of plastic, and it's not very comfortable. So we've figured a way to actually incorporate elastic in here to make them much more comfortable, and hopefully when we're done working with all our acrylic, we'll be able to switch over and start making some face shields like that that'll be much more comfortable. A little bit back to M4 Reactor, we have, as the mayor pointed out, a variety of shops, everything from woodworking, metalworking, CNC machining, laser cutting, 3D printing, electronics, robotics, sewing machines, vinyl cutter machines, plastic forming machines, and I know I'm missing a bunch of things. And as he said, some of these are very expensive equipment that you just wouldn't normally have access to. And we provide training on all of that when we're open, when we get back open, and hopefully that will be shortly. If any of you would like to help out or support M4 Reactor, please check out our website. We always are in need of support, whether that be volunteers or otherwise. So that's m4reactor.org. And if any of you have needs in terms of specific shields or something that needs to be manufactured for your business to help protect your frontline workers, we'd be happy to work with you on that. Thank you. Thank you, Jake, for having me.
Kevin, thank you so much. And can I just demonstrate, like, how when you handed that to me at first, I was thinking, okay, well, I don't know exactly what kind of difference that would make. And then it's like, oh, that terrible feeling on my ears all day is gone. So thank you. I love it. So in closing, folks, what I'd like to say is that, we remain committed to trying to figure out and find new ways to address the problems that arise as we walk down a road that has unknown challenges and pitfalls to come. And we will continue to be creative, and we will continue to be inclusive of perspectives and ideas. And this is, as Michelle said, precisely why the Workers' Protection Policy Task Force is something that came from an idea that she had, and is something that otherwise there might not have been that particular avenue for input. Julia, what I'd like to do in closing is, do you have anything that you want to add, anything that I've left out? Not to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot.
That goes with the title result.
That's right.
So I'll just add, the city is really excited to be working with those in our vulnerable populations. We have had 2 meetings now of folks from every walk of life, from our minority community, our disabled community, immigrants, low income, elderly, youth, you name it. We're trying to make sure that nobody gets left behind in this, because we know the saying, we're all in the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat. And that is incredibly true with this pandemic. So if there are folks that would like to be a part of that group, we meet on Wednesdays at 9:30 virtually. Would love to have everybody participate that wants to. So we're really excited and to continue working with all the partners in the room and others that are future partners. But, just doing our best to keep everybody safe. So that's all.
Will you hang out for just 1 second? Yeah. Do we have questions that have been posed on the thread, or any questions that you have, Taylor? After? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Anything you think needs to be answered for everybody, Chris? No? Okay. All right. All right, with that, thank you all very much. I appreciate it. I'm going to ask our partners to stick around for a minute. I know some reporters want to interview you on FaceTime, if that's okay, if you don't mind, or Zoom. And then Taylor may want you. Okay? All right. Thank you all.